What will be your reaction if your country hosts a mega event for 1.3 million people while it is going through a drinking water crisis? How is a country supposed to host such an event when it can't even fulfill the water needs of its locals? You must be thinking that the country must let go of the idea of hosting a mega event. But when the mega event is the FIFA World Cup 2022, how can a country not grab the opportunity? We are talking about no other country than Qatar. When Qatar decided to host the mega FIFA World Cup 2022 event, it was struggling with the drinking water crisis. The only step that could save its reputation was to seek help from other countries. Qatar decided to build many artificial pools, which needed a country to help them construct them. 3 candidates proposed their help to Qatar: the US, Japan, and China. But Qatar surprisingly rejected the US and Japan and chose China. Hello, everyone. Glad to have you back to another exciting episode of our channel. Innovation Diary brings you China's innovation stories and projects in different parts of the world. If you are new to the channel and enjoy learning about fast-paced modernity, especially China's development, you will find our videos intriguing. In this video, we will talk about why Qatar decided to reject Japan and the US and preferred China. Why did China look like the best option for Qatar in this urgency? Let's get started. Qatar was facing a severe water crisis. It had a few drinking water resources that were already running out. But this became a major concern for Qatar when they got the opportunity to host the FIFA World Cup 2022. Qatar was very excited to host this event and was also very concerned about its water crisis. But the question here is why Qatar faced the water crisis in the first place. It's because Qatar is a dry country. It only has 2 seasons, summer and winter. The rainfall is also very low in Qatar, and there are fewer rivers flowing for the entire year. Also, Qatar's population increased in recent times, which made the water scarcity worse. In the last decade, the country's population demand almost doubled. Apart from that, Qatar's domestic water usage is also very high. The water usage is estimated to be 450 liters per person each day. With this excessive use, it is impossible to let go of this issue. Qatar had to take some steps to solve the water scarcity issue as soon as possible. Before we continue further, tell us, are you loving the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel for more videos where we unveil breathtaking engineering and innovative marvels. Let's continue now. So, they decided to build multiple artificial water pools to cope with water scarcity. In the project, the main pool that was estimated to meet the water needs of 2 million people was worth $6 billion. But building this pool was not an easy job. Qatar needed someone who is best in infrastructure to help them build this pool. Instead of making this water pool on its own, Qatar decided to seek help. The only reason for this step is that Qatar did not want to take risks. They needed someone who was a construction expert and could build this complex pool without any errors. Qatar started to consider all the countries that have good infrastructure. 3 countries were on the list. Number 1 is the US, number 2 is Japan, and number 3 is China. Now, Qatar had to pick one among these 3 that could build this $6 billion water pool. While considering all the countries, Qatar had some requirements that a country must fulfill in order to get this project. First of all, Qatar needed to complete this project as soon as possible. The reason for that was the FIFA World Cup. The total population of Qatar is 3 million, while almost 1.3 million fans are estimated to arrive in Qatar. It means the water demand is going to increase drastically. And if Qatar ends up running out of water, there will be no way this mega event will be a success for Qatar. This is something Qatar would never want to happen. So, Qatar needed a country that could build an artificial water pool as soon as possible. First, they considered Japan to hand over this project. Japan has a very good infrastructure. It has been doing a lot of construction work in other countries. But one thing that stopped Qatar from handing over this project to Japan was its bad reputation for the delay. In the past, there have been many projects that Japan has delayed. Recently, a railway project got delayed in India, almost destroying Japan's reputation. So, if Qatar decides to choose Japan, there would be no guarantee of whether or not the project will end before the deadline. In the meantime, the World Cup was about to be held, so Qatar was not in the state to take risks. And Qatar was not the only country that didn't want Japan to do construction in their countries. Many countries in the past have also rejected Japan. Qatar needed someone who is known for completing projects on time. The second option was the U.S., which was willing to do this project. But in the past, whenever the U.S. has constructed anything for other countries, they have interfered in the country's personal affairs. The U.S. cares more about its interests than its partner country. And not just that, Qatar knew that the entire West didn't want the World Cup to be held in Qatar. The U.S. media has shared many concerns about the FIFA World Cup being held in Qatar. So, seeking help from Western countries did not sound like a good deal in the first place. And then comes China. China is already known for its infrastructure. It is capable of making complex projects possible. China has made many dream projects possible that no other country was able to do. Recently, to boost its infrastructure capabilities even more, China decided to invest $1 trillion in its infrastructure as well. And apart from that, China is known for completing projects within the deadlines and never letting its partners down. So, no other country seemed like a better option than China. So, Qatar decided to hand over this $6 billion project to China. And before China started to build the artificial water pool, they used their technology to see if the project was sustainable or not. They made many complex changes to make the pool work at any cost. China knew there was a huge responsibility over it, and it had to do its best. And to everyone's surprise, China built this artificial project within the deadline and handed it over to Qatar. This water pool helped Qatar provide water to its two major cities, and not just that, it also helped Qatar to fulfill water needs in the World Cup. It was almost impossible without China's help. After completing this successful project, China and Qatar's relationship grew stronger. Qatar has decided to hand over many other projects to China as well. China also built a stadium for Qatar as well. It won't be wrong to say that China contributed a lot to the World Cup. Because of China's aid, Qatar hosted this mega event beautifully. After this project, it is clear to any other country that if they want urgent and reliable construction, China is the only country that can help. China can provide the best quality infrastructure in less possible time. Qatar rejected both the U.S. and Japan and showed that in difficult times China is the only country that pops into mind. The West always wants to be in the limelight, but this World Cup and China's aid proved that many other countries can also steal the spotlight as well. Do you think in the future, if any country needs help, they will choose China? Is China becoming the world's best infrastructure designer, and not even the U.S. is able to complete it? Comment right below in the comment section, if all countries are choosing China, will the US and Japan no longer be an option for infrastructure projects? Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to get exclusive videos about how phenomenally China is developing. Until the next video, stay tuned.